Hi, I'm Azelle from The Upcoming. Lovely to speak to you guys today. Congratulations. So first, Sam, if we could start with you. Obviously, you not only direct this film, Empire of Light, but you write it as well. So can you tell us the story behind it and what made you want to tell it?
Yeah, it's quite a whole different experience writing it as well. I felt it's a much more lonely experience, and you end up depending more on the actors and the people around you to give you support. Because I've suddenly realised I missed the writer. You know, I couldn't complain to the writer about the script. I had to just go home and angst about it. For me, it was because it was very personal, I suppose. Hilary, Olivia's character, is based loosely on my mum and her struggle with mental illness. And that was the core, that was the sort of spur for writing it. And once I'd had the idea that this cinema standing alone on the South Coast, operated as a kind of crossroads for all these different characters, and that this sort of strange dysfunctional family lived there. It just felt like a story I wanted to tell that could overlap all sorts of things that formed me as a kid and as a teenage boy: pop culture, music, movies, the mental illness aspect, the time my political views were formed, which was a time of great social upheaval and racism in this country: Brixton riots, Toxteth riots, New Cross fire, Thatcher, unemployment, etc. And yet at the same time, amazing music, amazing movies. And that just felt enticing to me, and so I sat down and started writing in the hope that I would get to the end. And there's lots of things that I've started writing that I haven't finished. So the fact that I just got to the end of it was in itself a miracle, let alone made it. So yeah, I'm delighted.
For you, Olivia, obviously taking on this lead role as Hilary, what was that like to bring your character to screen? So kind of forge these relationships with, Stephen, Michael plays Stephen, and then also bring mental health issues to screen. How was that?
Well, it's a privilege to ever get a job, and then to be entrusted with something like that. And I know it's something so personal to Sam, and it's you want to do it justice, and you want anyone who's experienced those issues to not go, But and actually from this, there's been so many people who said, "I'm going to tell you this," but someone's dad had the same issues, and he said he'd never seen it expressed so honestly, which is down to you and what you wrote. And but the relationship between us, we get on very well, but I just found the whole thing really embarrassing. But Michael was very cool, very mature about it, and I was the one that kept going, can we just cut away this bit? But, it was the whole thing was joyful, even though it was difficult. That's also joyful it's very cathartic. We're very lucky in our job.
Michael, how was it for you to play Stephen? Can you tell us a little bit about your character and what was that like playing alongside Hilary?
Stephen for me is, just a guy with a lot of promise and a lot of hope. He knows what the stuff that he wants to achieve, but there's a lot of barriers kind of not allowing him to do so. So he's quite lonely. So the fact that he can find some sort of someone to connect with is special. So when he does meet someone who he does connect with, it doesn't matter about age, race, or anything like that. It just becomes about the stuff that they love, which it started off with this old abandoned bit of the cinema, but then the fact that Hilary decides to spend New Year's Eve, up on this amazing rooftop. He probably doesn't know many people that will go do that by themselves. So I think he was attracted to that, and it goes on this amazing journey, which I loved exploring with Olivia, because it's so true. We all need someone, and a lot of people that are lonely don't have anyone. So it was nice that they had each other.
See, he's much more mature than me. That was a much better answer.
I have to admit, it was a better answer. And it was better than mine as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, we've got this... Okay, right then. And obviously, you've got these amazing props, wonderful cinema scene and everything. Were there any memorable moments that stood out for you, and even for you to watch it and see it come together?
For me, I suppose there's a scene in which they come to... Hilary's had a full mental breakdown, really, and they come to get her and bring her into mental facility. And I think that scene, for me, for all of us, actually, was the sort of pivotal scene in the film. And kind of, if I really asked myself, the reason I wrote it was to get to that point. And I remember the feeling of that scene, and I remember shooting it with Olivia, and she found something in there which it was almost too difficult for me to watch. And I don't think I've ever quite experienced that on a movie set before, where it's so painful. There's so many memories of my own, and she's taking it to such a level that it was very moving, and that was for me the most memorable day, or 2 days.
Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah.
Well, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for speaking
Yeah.
to me.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
Lovely
Thank
to meet
you.
you.
You too.